Alright, so I made a video talking about how because of the pandemic, SJWs don't seem to be causing as much shit anymore. However, I was very fucking wrong. The pandemic is not stopping them. And here's their newest thing. Calling a woman Karen is now racist and sexist. First of all, before I even explain what it is, let's talk about the irony in the fact that SJWs have always said you can't be racist to white people, and now they're saying that the Karen meme is a racist and sexist slur for white people, specifically women. Of course, but their hypocrisy is nothing new at all. Basically, if you don't know, Karen is not a new thing, but SJWs just found out about it. Basically, it's a slang insult used to describe a middle-aged woman who is spoiled, greedy, usually rich, so she has no concept, or she's very out of touch with like younger people who work hard and do crap jobs like retail, grocery stores, and just thinks that she's all high and mighty. She's the one who wants all the privileges. She's the word Karen is used to describe a woman who has never worked in retail in her entire life and doesn't understand the difficulty, and is usually those women with the really, really short hair, and are usually the women who are memed to always say, "Can I speak with your manager?" Which, if you go to a store and ever see a woman say, "Can I speak to the manager?" she pretty much always has the Karen haircut. So not only is it a meme, but it's also true. But the SJWs are complaining about it, and they actually have the nerve to say that saying Karen is the equivalent of calling a black person the N-word. Not only is that ignorant, stupid, racist, but the irony in the fact that you SJWs talk about racism, is around every corner, but then have the nerve to compare a white woman's name to something that meant slavery hundreds of years ago is completely disgusting. But as we know, SJWs don't have morals, so it's really not surprising to hear them say this. And it's also hypocritical, because if Karen is the equivalent, then how come you're okay with saying Karen, but you're not okay with saying yet you'll still say the N-word, because you know that the N-word is still very offensive. But if it's equal to Karen, then shouldn't you be saying the K-word? But then again, we are talking about SJWs, so we really can't expect any brains whatsoever. So let's take a look at this article written by a Karen. The Karen meme is everywhere, and it has become mired in sexism. Countless TikTok videos are dedicated to the Karen meme. What was once a way of describing women's behavior is now too often about controlling it. So the first thing we're going to say is that this is just wrong. The Karen meme is about describing women's behavior. It has always been about that. It still is today. And SJW saying that no, now it's about controlling women and that's why we hate it, is actually something that they made up so they could hate it. If they hated it for what it used to be and what it still is, then they wouldn't really have an excuse to actually hate it, because it wouldn't make any sense. It still doesn't, but it wouldn't make any sense for them either. But I just want to point out something else as well. Karen is a behavioral thing. As I already described, it's a woman who has those behaviors. You would just call her a Karen. It's like the insult name for those behaviors. And I want to point out that if you yourself are offended by this term, you are probably Karen yourself. Karen is commonly used in the US to refer to a strident, middle-class white woman who talks down to people of color. First of all, yes, it is easily said to white women, but in your opinions, white people don't face racism, so this doesn't count. 2, does not talk down to people of color. You just made that up so you could put a racist label on it, whereas in reality, a Karen will talk down to literally anybody who works in retail that she doesn't like or agree with, or doesn't have the product in stock that she wants. Usually in serving staff positions. But the term was never just about racial oppression, and it's not. As Vox wrote in its extremely extensive history of the trope, the comedian Dane Cook was using it in his act in 2005, which is true. Every friendship group has a Karen, and she's always a bag of douche, correct. The term went more mainstream a few years ago when someone on Reddit wrote so much bile about his ex-wife that his post got their own subreddit called r fuck you Karen. One of the most popular ever tweets using the Karen meme was posted a month ago just before the lockdown. I'm scared for people who actually need to go to the store and feed their fams, but Susan and Karen stocked up for 30 years, which is true. The majority of the people who during this pandemic went to the grocery store and bought all the food, those people are people that you would also refer to as a Karen. This was liked 1.2 million times because only women shop, apparently, and shop selfishly. Well, unfortunately, that's actually true. Not only do women make up 80% of all consumers, but usually the most selfish shoppers are, in fact, women. Granted, during a time of this pandemic, that's a little bit different. It's, you'll find men being selfish too. When you look at videos of people fighting over toilet paper, you will see men fighting with men and women fighting with women and vice versa. But in general, it is, in fact, usually women. It's a fact, sorry. This weekend, the Sunday Times defined Karen as an annoying person in the office, which is also true. And you have to admire the use of the genderless word person there, because I'd love to know how many men out there have been called a Karen. Yeah, we don't usually call men a Karen, so that part is technically true. But the behaviors that go along with Karen are usually behaviors that women have. Men are usually a lot more laid back and don't really have the whole "can I speak to the manager" attitude. Men care way less than women do. It's just how it is. I'm gonna guess it's a feminine, curvaceous 0. Karens are moms, pushy ones, true. They share corny inspirational quotes on Facebook, buy merchandise inscribed with "Live, Love, Laugh," and love to ruin teenage fun. All true. The Karen chat stepped up a notch last week when the feminist writer Julie Bindel tweeted, "Does anyone else think the Karen slur is woman-hating and based on class prejudice? This is the most ironic and stupid part. First of all, it's not women-hating. It's hating a specific attitude that some women have. We can hate a person's attitude without hating the person or the gender associated with that person, you stupid fuck. Additionally, I thought SJWs actually supported the working class. By the way, don't even answer that. When I say I thought, I'm actually saying that's what you say and I don't give a shit because you're all liars and have no real morals. But regardless, you claim to be for the working class, yet you're mad at us for hating on a woman who's usually in the rich class. Okay, the irony is astounding. Cue a social media firestorm, one I blithely wandered into. Yes, it's sexist. No, it's not. Ageist, it's not. Classist, not, in that order. Soon, I had thousands of responses. Some were from people of color, frustrated that the term's original meaning had been lost and that the two white women were denigrating a term they used to describe racism, and fair enough. No, the term has not changed. SJWs put a new definition on it to get mad about it, and then claimed it was changed because you changed it, and then claimed that we changed it. Fuck yourself. Truly, few things warm the heart like the palpable excitement of men when they find a new misogynistic term they can lob at women with impunity. Wrong. This has been around since 2005. You admitted that yourself, so calling it new is stupid, and it was changed by SJWs just like you change every other definition. So again, fuck yourself. Do I really need to spell out the sexism of a meme about a woman's name that took off from a man gripping about his ex-wife and has become a way of telling women to shut up? Only women who have the specific attitude, and if you have an attitude where you're a bossy, rich, snobby fuck, you should be called Karen. In fact, you should be called considerably worse. So why don't you be grateful that you're only called Karen and not a fucking whore bitch? Yes, there are memes about Chad and Zach, but these have never gained the popularity of ones about Becky, Susan, or Tammy, let alone Karen. Just to point out, I've actually never heard Becky, Susan, or Tammy. I've only ever heard Karen. When I see young and not so young white women defending the Karen meme, I'm reminded of the cool girl passage in Gone Girl. Yeah, I'm not a basic pushy mum type woman, I'm a cool girl. And what's wrong with that? I like how you're trying to say that it's bad if a woman is not a pushy bitch. What? Let's see how long denigrating your own sex works for you, ladies. Apparently, really well. Well, first of all, they're not denigrating their own sex, but regardless, denigrating women has been around for a long time. Women are usually catty towards other women. It is very rare that a man is catty towards another man or a man is catty towards a woman. Most cattiness comes from other women. For example, you know that whole SJW shit about men are the ones who are always saying a woman can't wear a dress more than once. But in reality, if you asked any man on the entire planet if he cares about a woman wearing the same dress twice, or the same shoes twice, or the same purse twice, he will say no. The majority of complaints from jealous people when you wear the same clothes twice or whatever come from other women. Just like shit like this. How strange isn't it that the only time all that complaints like this have happened about denigrating your own sex, ladies, have only come out in the past 5 years since the SJW culture began? It's almost like you are factually to blame. Ageism. Karen, as we have established, is a mother. One with multiple children, as Vox put it. So we're probably talking about middle-aged here. Middle-aged women. Ew. I don't know what the fuck the complaint is here. We're pointing out that the women who are most often to complain about little things because they have a lot of money and are busybodies, at least they claim to be, are middle-aged. That's not... You're putting ageism as like a bad thing, but all we're doing is pointing out that most of the women who have this attitude are in their 40s, which is true. But pointing that out is wrong and ageism? Yeah, we are pointing out an age, but you're trying to put a spin on it like pointing that out is a bad thing. We're just pointing out that it's those women. I mean, what would you prefer we say? All women are like this? It's funny that you don't want us to say things like don't insult women as a whole, but then when we say, oh no, it's specific to like middle-aged women, then all of a sudden that's even worse. Basically, it's only bad if we say it. Finally, class. Whatever upper middle connotations Karen might have in the US, in the UK the name is not posh. Try substituting Karen for Emily Freya. Freya? What is this, Final Fantasy IX? It is no coincidence that a tweet calling Jess Phillips a Karen was so popular, given Phillips grew up working class, is a mother, and, not wanting to shock anyone here, a woman. Tick, tick, tick. Anyway, I really can't read any more of this dribble because it's so fucking stupid. Regardless, the Karen meme is not meant to insult women as a whole or to be ageist, sexist, or racist, and it never was when it was created in 2005. It became that way because SJWs made it that way on purpose to complain about it, and then when they made it up, they complained about it. Everything's a fucking excuse with you idiots. And if anybody's racist, it's you for comparing it to the N-word. For that, seriously, fuck yourself.